this and the standard GTI. Well, this car is 10% stiffer than the standard car. It's 10mm lower. Comes with these gorgeous black alloy wheels. Uprated Brembo calipers on the front. Big 4-pot calipers. Huge front discs. Also, very importantly, a Torsen mechanical limited slip diff of the front axle. That, I'll get onto the limited slip diff, but that really does define the driving experience of this car. So firstly, why did I get rid of the GT86? Well, I love that car, I love the balance, I love the way it made me feel, but it got to a point where I'd had a few rear-wheel drive, high-revving Japanese cars, and I've been reading a few articles about the new Fiesta ST and a lot of small hot hatches, and I'm really keen to get my hands on a Fiesta ST, but long story short, I couldn't get hold of one to test drive, and then the Evo magazine landed on my doorstep one day, and there was an article in there that talked about the new Fiesta ST, the last ST200, this car, and the Renault Sport Trophy Clio from years ago. And I've had two Renault Sport Clios 2 litres, and I adored them. I thought they were great fun. So I thought it was time to get back into a sort of a quick, small French hot hatch. And what I could read from the Evo magazine is, for the money, this car was easily as good as the Fiesta STs, if not better. And this car I'm in now is only 2 years old. It's still within its manufacturer's warranty, and I picked it up for just under £13,000, which I think is an absolute bargain, because these things were like 23 grand new. So for me, it was a no-brainer, and luckily my GT86 was around that sort of price, so it didn't cost me the earth to change. And this car is a bit cheaper to run because it's lower on tax and it's much better on fuel. It's a lot different proposition to the GT86. The driving position is nowhere near as good because you're in a hot hatch as opposed to a sports car. But it is surprising how good the interior quality feels compared to the Toyota. I was never a big fan of the scratchy black plastics from the sort of 1990 spec that were in the 86. That was always sort of a bugbear for me, and I'm really pleasantly surprised I haven't been in a French hot hatch since I owned the old Clio 2-litre Cup, which wasn't the greatest interior. But this feels really nicely screwed together. It doesn't feel like it's made of cheese or fromage frais or something. It does really feel great. And these seats, these Peugeot Sport seats that come in this car, are fantastic. They look great, they feel great, they hug you and support you in all the right places. They're just cracking, and you need good seats in this car, because boy can it corner. I mean, it really is something else. Let's see if we can chuck it around the roundabout. Have a bit of fun. See if we can get that diff working for you guys. Let's see what happens in here. Got a nice big roundabout. Oh, there's the back end. Oh yeah, there she goes. Oh yeah, we got some balance now. This car is naughty. Naughty car. Naughty little French car. Oh. sort of a dual personality in that respect. When this car was new, it came with a Michelin Pilot Sports, which is a fairly aggressive tyre, but this one's got Pirelli P0s all around on it. I'm not sure how much of a difference that's going to make, because I've never driven the car on the original tyre, but what I can gather is the Pirellis are pretty damn sticky in the dry. At least it will understeer quite a bit in the wet, and you have to be a bit mindful of it, and you can get quite big snaps of oversteer when you lift off, because you can be quite committed with the diff. But it would be interesting to try it on the original tyres. I'm gonna hopefully look on forums and see what the best tyre for this car is, or if you guys out there can maybe in the comments below recommend an ideal tyre, or your experience, if you have any experience with living with this car, what kind of tyre it can would suit it. So I've had the car for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and it hasn't been completely plain sailing. There has been a bit of a French cliche of, I wouldn't say reliability, but I did notice early on that I had quite a noise, strange noise when I was doing low speed manoeuvres from the steering wheel, an unpleasant sort of noise. And I looked on forums, and this is quite common with this car and the standard GTI, and a lot of the forums it said that it was largely due to the front suspension top mounts wearing the bushes. But I took it to my local Peugeot dealer, because this car is under warranty, and they basically changed a wheel bearing and a front damper, or a shock absorber as they call it, which was a little bit disturbing, because this car's only done, well, when I got this car it had only done 20,000 miles, and it's barely 2 years old. So the fact that they're changing some major front suspension parts doesn't bode well for the future. But I don't mind so much when the car's under warranty, but it would definitely make me think twice about having this car long term, because if you're changing bits of suspension every 20,000 miles, it's going to get costly. But looking at the plus side for now, I mean, it's depreciated. Over the first 2 years, it's lost about £10,000. So if you're going to buy one of these second hand, it's a real bargain. And do make sure you get it with the warranty. I can't stress that enough. I mean, peace of mind, or you know, buy a warranty afterwards. Yeah, the engine is very torquey. It delivers, I think, max torque by about 3,000 RPM, and it's a lot of torque. It'll rev out to 6,000 RPM, but it isn't a high revving engine, but it's very efficient at what it does, and it's very fuel efficient, so there isn't a lot of oral pleasure to be had. Oral pleasure? That's not what I meant. Well, I think I meant audible pleasure. There's no oral pleasure either, but there's definitely no audible pleasure. Whoops. So I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to my new daily driver. If you have any comments or experience about this car, or if you own one of these, I'd love to hear from you. If you've ever driven one of these, I'd love to hear from you. I'd really like to get your opinion, what you guys out there think of this car. Am I talking crap? Is it overrated? Is it a bargain? Will it become a future classic? Have Peugeot got their mojo back? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching, and